In this video, we're going to talk about how to calculate your side hustle taxes, including self-employment and your federal withholdings if you also have a day job. Well, that's why you have a side hustle, right? Because you're getting a little bit of extra income. You want to know how you can make sure that you don't get stuck having to pay a bunch of taxes at the end of the year. So I'm going to show you a really easy tool, one that I use in a lot of my videos to make doing your taxes just a little bit easier. But before we get into it, if this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, certified financial planner, helping you reach your financial goals. So you have a side hustle, you have self-employment tax, so that's Social Security and Medicare. You need to know how to calculate that, set that aside, and pay those taxes. But you also need to make sure that you're paying your federal taxes, also known throughout the course of the year as your estimated taxes. Now, not everyone needs to pay estimated taxes, especially in your first year, but eventually you will, and you should anyways if you're gonna have taxes that are gonna be owed. So I wanna show you how I would do it really simply. I wanted to take a second to thank our sponsor of this video and several other of our videos, The Coldest Water. This is one of their bottles, the Coldest Water bottle. I'll leave a link in the description at the bottom. Go ahead and buy yourself a bottle, support the channel, and thank you to The Coldest Water. Now, I've gone through a lot of this math in a previous video. I'm gonna leave that video link in the description at the bottom, and I'll also put it at the end of the video, just so you can also watch that, which goes into a little bit more in depth on the math and the calculations behind it. But I just want to talk really briefly on how to make sure that you're doing this correctly. So the amount that you're going to be taxed on, including your self-employment tax, is not your revenue. Your revenue is how much you're making as what we call a top line number, and that's the amount of money that's coming in the door. So let's say that you're making widgets, and those widgets are $10 a piece. They cost you $10 to make, and you're selling them for $20. If you have one widget, that means your cost is $10, but your revenue is $20, where your profit, and that's what really counts, is what's left over. And that's gonna be your $10. So while your revenue is $20, your cost is $10, your income, your net profit on that simplified calculation, oversimplified, is $10. There's obviously a lot more cost of running a business, but in a nutshell, that's what you'd be looking at. You don't have to pay self-employment taxes on the full $20, just your net profit. So if you're not profitable, then you're not gonna have those taxes. So you need to know that right from the beginning, because that's what we're gonna go ahead and plug into this online tool. Now, this is the online estimator, your IRS Form W4 online estimator. Now, if you have a W4, if you filled one out previously, it's probably because you have a day job. So that day job is where you're gonna go ahead and fill out your IRS Form W4. But what you might not realize is you can actually withhold all of your taxes on that same paycheck. So you can have the side hustle, you can have your day job, and just adjust your IRS Form W4 to make sure that you're withholding enough money. Now, throughout the course of the year, you might need to go in and update it, especially if you have volatile income on your side hustle, which is probably likely because it's not steady like a regular paycheck. So you want to make sure that this is accurate, but at the same time, this is really the easiest way to do it. This is the way that I actually do it for all of my businesses. I just take all that information, I put it on a W4, and that's how I do it. So I have one business that ends up paying myself as a W4, and all of the other businesses, all those taxes, I calculate it and take it out of that one check. So that's how I account for it. So again, I'm gonna leave a link in the description at the bottom for the long math, but let's go ahead and look at this tool and I'll explain what I mean. Why this is so easy. Just go to Google and you type in IRS W4 estimator. It's gonna come right up and you'll see the button here, use the tax withholding estimator. So this might look a little intimidating at first, but it's not. Go through step by step. I have a gazillion videos on the IRS Form W4 estimator, so you haven't used it in the past, don't be intimidated. It's rather easy, and you can take it piece by piece. And if you have questions, let me know in the comments down below. So let's go through in a quick example. Let's just say that we're single for this walkthrough, and that we have no one else can claim us as a dependent. We don't have any other dependents. We do have our day job, whatever that is. Go ahead and put it in there. If you don't have a day job, you only have self-employment income, this video is not for you. This W-4 will not work if all you have is self-employment income, unless you're an S-Corp paying yourself as a W-2 employee. So pension, we don't have a pension, and we're gonna go in here and look at this checkbox. It says, earn net income from self-employment. As soon as we check that off, on the following screens, we're gonna see an area where we can put in that net profit, and it will calculate our self-employment, and it will show us our federal income tax withholdings as well. So we'll calculate both of those. That is what's different here. You can't just take the net profit and add it to your income and put it on your W-4. You'll see what I mean by when we go to the next page. I'm gonna click on next here, and we're gonna say, do you expect to hold this job all year? Yes. We're gonna say we get paid, doesn't matter for this walkthrough, every 2 weeks. On what date did your most recent pay stub come in? Let's just say we got it on the 1st of July. Again, whatever, these are just hypothetical numbers. And let's say we're making $100,000, no bonuses there. Year to date, $2,500 per paycheck, $500. Again, whatever, it doesn't matter. For this walkthrough, it doesn't matter for what I'm trying to show you. We don't have an income, no cafeteria plan. And look at this. Here is your self-employment. Now, the net self-employment income, that is your net profit. That's what we're looking at here. That is what's gonna have the self-employment and your federal income taxes. That's what it's gonna be based on. So let's just say that we're earning an extra $20,000. And whatever that number is for you, you can go ahead and put it in here. Now, your estimated federal income tax that you've withheld so far from self-employment, if I didn't do anything, let's just put a 0. If you have withheld anything, go ahead and put it in there. Otherwise, don't. It's the same thing for up here. This is where you want to look at your most recent pay stub and put that information here. And that is going to make the adjustment. So let's go ahead to the next page, and we will go to next step. And we will go to the next step, and deductions from income, itemized deductions. We're gonna take the standard deduction for this walkthrough. It's $12,555, $12,550. Some of that's filing as single. Click next. I'm not gonna go through the tax credits here, and we go to that last page. And then if we look at here, if we click on here, the W-4 form W-4, that link right there, I'm gonna click on it, it's gonna download, you're gonna open it, and this is how you should fill out your W-4. That means it's going to adjust my withholdings to be as accurate as possible based on the information that I provided on what's going on with my day job and my side hustle. It's already doing all the math. So it's gonna bump up those withholdings quite a bit because of the self-employment income tax, which is 15.3%. So it's gonna need to make that adjustment in addition to your federal withholdings. This is a really simplified way of doing it. Now, in the other video that I'm linking in the description at the bottom, I walk through all of the math so you can figure out how to calculate it. You can match up the two and double check your work basically to make sure that it's as accurate as possible, to make sure that you're not gonna run into some issues, and you can really start to understand how taxes work. And then as you progress and earn more money, you can start to figure out how you can reduce your adjusted gross income, the amount of taxes that you're paying, which is really, really important. Obviously, we want to pay the right amount of taxes, the least amount of taxes. So in this case, you would turn this IRS Form W-4 back into your day job, your employer, and the payroll department would adjust your withholdings to make sure that is as accurate as possible. So this will take into consideration all of that. And I think if we go back to the last page, if we scroll down here, it will actually break out how much those taxes are. So it will say what your job is. You have $100,000 here, and then you have your $20,000 from your self-employment, and half of self-employment tax is $1,413. It's basically breaking out all of these numbers. And we're gonna get all of this math if you go through the long format, which I did in the other video, and you can look at it here. But you can kind of double check your work. Now, if you have questions about any of this stuff, it doesn't look right, this is the page that you would wanna refer to that will have all the data, all the information. So go ahead and you can basically PDF print this thing and keep it for your records. So if you end up making a mistake, we can actually figure out where you made the mistake by how much withholdings you put in there at that time and how much you put in for income, it will make that adjustment. But this is a simplified way of doing it. Now, if you're earning a lot more on your side hustle than you are your day job, it's probably not a side hustle anymore. But if that's the case, then you might not be able to do this completely, because if you need to withhold more than 100% of your paycheck, then obviously you have a problem. So you have to actually do estimated taxes then. But if it is the other way around, this is a side hustle where something along the lines of you're earning $100,000, your side hustle is $20,000, that ratio works out where you can actually withhold enough on your paycheck. So let me know in the comments down below if this has helped. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.